Hey everyone, how's it going? Hope you're having a great day. For today's video, I wanted to do something a little bit different and go through some of my favorite figures in my collection. So if you had a chance to check out my collection tour video, I went through all of the figures that are out on display in my room currently. I have over 100 figures and I've gotten some questions on, what my favorite figures are and, so I'm gonna go through my top 10 favorite figures in my collection. And of course, these are just my opinions on my collection. So I hope you enjoy. Let's get into the list. Now, it was really hard for me to pick a top 10, but here's a quick sneak peek at my room, and let's get closer to who made figure number 10. It is Kyojiro from Kotobukiya. Now, why did Kyojiro make my top 10 list? Well, first, I love him as a character. He's got a great personality, and I think his fighting style was so cool. From his pose to his expression, Kotobukiya really nailed this figure and captured the essence of Kyojiro so well, especially when I take a closer look at this base. It is truly a masterpiece. There's so much dimension in these flames, and I love the way that it just kind of brightens up my room in a sense. It doesn't glow or anything, but it does a great job. Plus the details in his uniform, his sheath at his side, his hair, and his face, of course, is fully nailed, which is why he's number 10. And moving on to the first Nendoroid of this list, we have Umara-chan coming in at number 9. I love this Nendoroid so much. Umara-chan is definitely my spirit animal. After a long day of work, all I want to do is play games, eat junk food, and just enjoy life. And this Nendoroid captures that so perfectly, which is why she's in my top 10. Moving on to the second and last Nendoroid in my top 10 list, we have Hanako-kun coming in at number 8 from the amazing anime Toilet Bound Hanako-kun. Don't let the name fool you. It is an amazing anime. Check it out. But this Nendoroid is so cute, so detailed, and has the approval of Snowflake, which is important, by the way. There's so much packed into this tiny little character, and it just makes me really happy every time I look at him. Moving on to the next figure on my list, we have Hatsune Miku by Maithos, which comes in at number 7. Now, this is my first and probably only Miku figure that I'll ever have, but 100% worth it. She's gorgeous. Like, everything about this is glorious. I love the way all the flowers are stacked around her, complementing the beautiful pearlescent color of her hair. I also love the color of her outfit, which is so soft and delicate and has a lot of beautiful details etched into it as well. Her face is also one of the prettiest that I've ever seen on a figure. Moving on to number 6, we have X10 Combat Rabbit from Free. Now, this is the first quarter scale figure on my list, and for good reason. This figure knocked it out of the park when it comes to unique bunny figures. I mean, this is an original character, so I feel like there was not very much restraint that they had, but just everything from the beautiful gradients of the hair, from like the gray to the peach to the black bangs and the hat with the bunny ears into it instead of just a headband with bunny ears, plus this ginormous tail on her back. She is glorious. As a 1/4 skill enthusiast, this bunny figure really checks all the boxes for me in terms of detail and attitude and just shelf presence. If she was a character that I actually knew, I think this would have been higher up on my list, but for now she is number 6. Starting up my top 5, this is Nadeshiko from Fat Company, one of the first scale figures I ever unboxed on my channel, and still one of my favorite figures overall. There's so much to love about this figure, and if you've watched the show at all, Eurocamp, I would highly recommend it. It is so comforting, so fun, and this figure really captures the joy and the pleasantness, I guess, of going camping, the anticipation and just all of the details on her backpack with the cup and the sleeping bag and her holding the lantern, which does actually light up, but I didn't put a battery into it. Yeah, this figure is amazing, and I think it is my favorite of the Nadeshiko figures out there. And of course, I can't have a Nadeshiko on this list without a corresponding Rin figure on this list. Now this is Rinshima 110 scale by Alter, and she has made the top 4 of my top 10 list. I think this figure really speaks for itself. I mean, if you really take a look at this figure, there's always something interesting to look at, from just the lights on the bike to her shoes, the can that's in her hand that has a decal with all of the details of that can on it. The license plate looks so realistic, and the bags, of course, are a highlight as well. The handles move as well as the wheels, which is a great touch. I really do wish this figure was bigger. I think it would have definitely made it closer to my top 3, but yeah, there's not really much else to complain about. Now, before we get into the top 3 of my top 10 list, I want to take a moment to talk about Skillshare once again. I've been using this platform for about 2 months, and I am just in love with the possibilities and what I've learned so far. Now, every month they send you a list of upcoming videos that could interest you, and I'm just so excited that there's so many options, you know, 3D painting in Procreate, as well as baking for beginners like that. I would love to make better desserts. I am a dessert enthusiast, so let's take a look at this course that is coming soon. Now you will see everything that you're going to be potentially learning in this, as well as just a background on who the teacher is and what they've done. Like, wow, these look so good. I want to make that cake. Like, there's flowers on those strawberries, and that blueberry roll cake looks so good. Check out my description for a link, and the first 1,000 people to use it will get a 1-month free trial of Skillshare. And coming back to the top 3 figures, number 3 is Chiaki Nanami from Freeing, also a 1/4 scale. Now this is my favorite character from one of my favorite games of all time, so that's why she is so high up here. And I feel like Freeing did a really great job making this bunny super unique. They brought out her color palette and also gave her this really awesome fluffy bunny ear hat, which I don't think they've really done for other characters, but really fits Chiaki's character. They gave her her signature pin, and her expression with her eyes is perfect. The only thing I don't like about this is how small it is compared to the other 1/4 characters. But moving on to number 2, Yae Sakura from Apex. Now when I first started collecting figures, this one in particular was on my must-buy list. I'm sure you can tell why. She is so beautiful, like the colors and the aesthetic, and how she's suspended on this branch with the really cool, wooden background behind her. I am just in love with this figure, and even after I've had over 100 figures added, she is still my number 2. Moving on to number 1. My absolute favorite figure currently in my collection is this Megumin from Eastream 1/7 scale. This is such an epic figure, like nothing really even comes close in my opinion. I love Megumin as a character. She's adorable. Her dedication to magic is just very admirable. I love how this base looks with the beautiful swirling effect piece and the gradients of the, the clear pieces here. Her expression when she's ready to fire off her magic is beautiful, and there's just nothing else that comes close to this figure in my collection right now. Here is my honorable mention number 1, my Jujutsu Kaisen collection from Kotobukiya. Individually, they're really great, but together, they make such an impact. And honorable mention number 2 are these Racing Queens from Azur Lane Mimoyoi 1/4 scale. I just love how big and beautiful they are. So that was my top 10 and honorable mentions for the figures currently in my collection. I have a lot more on the way this year, so I'm really excited to see how my list is going to change over the course of this year. Thank you so much for watching, and please let me know what your favorite figure in my collection is and what your favorite figure in your own personal collection is. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you next time. Bye-bye.